Hello children, a very good morning. Welcome to English class. My name is Miss Tulasi J. Prakash and today I am going to discuss with you a very interesting topic in English. Ready for it? Excited? Give me a thumbs up. Very good. Well children, today we are going to discuss about suffixes. Have you heard of this term before? Suffixes. What are they? Well, let's get into it and know what they are. Children, now I'm going to give you some examples. Okay, let's consider these examples. I'm going to give you some words which you are very familiar. Okay? Predict. What do you mean by predict? Predict means you can say that something will happen in the future or something will not happen in the future. To say something about the future. Okay? Next word. Fear. You're afraid. Reach. Okay? Reach. Teach. Which means saying something, telling you something. Possible. Words which are very familiar, right? Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to add certain letters to these words. Okay? Let's see. I'm going to add letter A-B-L-E at the end of this word predict. It has now changed to predictable. Now I'm going to add L-E-S-S at the end of fear. And at the end of reach, I'm going to add reached. At the end of teach, I'm going to add ER. Whereas, here, let me add in the beginning. Whereas, let me find one more word. Say for example, I'm going to add here also in the beginning. Now, when I have added letters at the end of these words, the meaning changed. Say for example, when I added A-B-L-E at the end of predict, it has now become predictable. Which means that you can say that something is sure to happen. Say for example, if someone is studying very well, someone who works very hard, you can say that that person's result is predictable, which means it is sure that he is going to score good. Whereas fearless, fear means afraid, scared, whereas fearless means without afraid, being afraid, not having any fear. See how the word changed its meaning? Reach, which means you have to get to somewhere. Reached, which indicates you have got there, you have reached that place, something in the past. Teach is to tell you something, whereas teacher is a person who teaches. Possible, which means that it is possible to do, you can do it. Whereas impossible means it is not possible to do it. Whereas when I added you in here, it has now become unpredictable. Predictable again changed to unpredictable, which means you cannot say that something. It can happen anything. It is not sure that India will win the match or India may not win the match. So the match is unpredictable, which means that you cannot predict something. So when I am adding these letters, either at the end or in the beginning, the word meaning changes, right? These words, which I have written in black in color, these words are called as root words. What do you call them as? Root words. So, root words means the words, the base words, which can give rise to new words if we are writing letters either at the end or in the beginning, which can give rise to new words. And I have added words or letters at the end as well as in the beginning. These letters added at the end or in the beginning We can call them as affixes. What is it called as? Affixes. So, root words are those words which can give rise to new words when letters are added at the end or in the beginning. Fold, for example, which means you can fold or bend something. When I am adding able, it becomes foldable. And if I am adding un in the beginning, unfoldable, which means that you cannot fold it. How the word is changing, right? So, root words are those words which gives you the possibility of forming new words if letters are added at the end or in the beginning. And these letters added at the end or beginning is what you call as affixes. Affixes are of two types. Those letters added at the ends, you call them as suffixes. So, able, here able, less, less, ed, er, all these are suffixes. Whereas those letters which is added in the beginning, okay, like un, in, you call them as prefixes. What is it called as? Prefixes. Suffixes and prefixes. Suffixes and prefixes together forms affixes. So, in English language, we use these letters so that we can express our emotions, our thoughts. It gives you a variety of vocabulary in English language. To make it more simple and funny, I thought I would use an example. You all know what it is, right? This is a beetroot. So, here in beetroot, you have leaves in the top and there is also root. It has not grown. Root also grows. So this portion, the center portion, this is what you can consider it as the root word, the centermost portion. And the leaves which is attaching at the top and the root at the end, they form the affixes, which can give rise to new things. So a beetroot plant grows with the help of the root as well as the leaves. So the root word is the center portion, which can be changed into new one when you have the leaves as well as the roots. So the leaves here or the roots here together forms the affixes. At the beginning, you call it as prefixes. At the end, when the root grows, you call it as suffixes. So those words in the center is a root word which has its own meaning. And it can be changed into new words when you are attaching letters at the end or in the beginning. So suffixes, the word itself indicates, let me tell you, here suff. The word SUF indicates after, whereas fix or fixes indicates attached. So suffixes are letters that are attached after the word. Suffixes have different meanings. You have different kinds of suffixes like able, less, ed. We have so many suffixes and each of them has its own meaning. We have a lot to discuss about it. Why don't we go into it? Why don't we discuss more about suffixes? Well, let me open the presentation and we are going to now discuss more about suffixes. Children, let's now discuss more about suffixes. So you know now what are affixes. Group of letters attached before and after the root word. For example, unacceptable. Accept is a root word. Whereas when you're adding able to the accept, it becomes acceptable. The meaning changes. And if I am adding un before acceptable, it becomes unacceptable. Again, you get a new word. So these group of letters attached before and after a root word is called as affixes. And when you are adding letters at the end, a letter or a group of letters added at the end of the root word, you call it as suffixes. For example, happiness, peaceful. So here ness is a suffix, nes. Full is again a suffix. So ness means it is a state of something, a quality of something. So happiness means a state of being happy. Peaceful means full of. So peaceful means full of peace. So each of the suffix has its own meaning. Understood, children? Again, a few more examples. Hope, care, pay, all these are root words. If you are adding letters at the end of these root words, you get new words. Hope becomes hopeful, full of hope. Care becomes careless. Less means without. So without being cared. Payment, doing something. You're doing an action. You're paying. So all these are examples of suffixes. A group of letters or a letter which is attached at the end of a word. Reach, when I'm adding ed, it becomes reached. Er, when I attach to teach, becomes teacher. See how the words are changed? Right? So suffixes are a letter or a group of letters that you add to the end of the root word. Let's now discuss about some of the suffixes with its meaning. Ready? So here comes a list of suffixes with its meaning. Able, able. If you are adding at the end of a word, it means that able to be. So inflatable means if you have a balloon or if you have a ball, say for example, in your hand, and you can actually blow and make it big. It is called as inflatable. It is able to be inflated, to make it big. Made of, you can use en. Woolen, the cloth is woolen, which means that it is made of wool. Ible, it indicates ability. Flexible, which means it has the ability to bend. Ly indicates in a manner, something which takes place in a manner. Quickly, which means that it takes place fastly. Slowly, which means that it takes place very slowly. It's not fast. Same way, ward, W-A-R-D, shows direction. Forward, backward, it shows the direction. Ways, again, direction. The words that end in ways shows direction. Sideways. Full, which means full of, beautiful. Thing is very beautiful. It means it is full of beauty. Understood, children? These are some of the examples of suffixes. You have so many suffixes. If you go through it, you will get to see that there are so many suffixes in English. Why don't we do some exercises? You can add new words by adding FUL or LESs. Say for example, care. When I'm adding FUL, it becomes careful, which means full of care. If I add LESs, care becomes careless. LESs less means without, which means without care. See how the word meaning is changing? Careful means full of care, whereas when I add LESs, it becomes careless, which means without having any care. Same way, fear. Fearful, which means full of fear. Every animals in the jungle are fearful of the lion, which means everybody is afraid of the lion. Whereas when I'm adding LESs, it becomes fearless. The lion is fearless, which means the lion does not have any fear. See how the word meaning changes when you're adding the suffix? Same way, why don't you try out rest of the word? Say like pain becomes painful if you add FUL, and it becomes painless when you add LESs. Try to write all these words. Try to find new words by adding FUL and LESs. It's an activity for you. Okay, do it in your notebook. Let's get into next one. Again, this is there in your textbook also. Write this in your notebook. Add suffixes either Y, ER, ABLE, FUL, EN or EST. So you have words inside the bracket and you have to make it into the suffix. Say for example, that was a dash meal. So the root word here is wonder. And you have to attach a suffix, the proper suffix. That was a wonderful meal. I'm adding FUL. Same way, you have to add the appropriate suffix to the words given in the bracket. Okay? Say one more example. Shaheen's mother is a famous dash. Pained is a root word. So what can you add to it? You can add ER. Shaheen's mother is a famous painter. Same way, children try to solve all the other sentences given here. Let's see if you are able to solve it. So, we know what are suffixes. Suffixes, they are a letter, a group of letters which is added at the end of a root word. So when you are adding these letters at the end of the word, they become a new word. Paint. If you are adding ER, it becomes painter. ER indicates doing an action. Teach. ER, it becomes teacher, which means doing an action, a person doing an action. In the same way, each of the suffixes has its own meaning. Let's do all these exercises and make ourselves thorough with suffixes. Okay, so play with these words, enjoy doing these exercises. Today we have only this. I hope you have understood what are suffixes. Suffixes are letters attached at the end of the root word. Root word is the word which can give rise to new words. So if you have letters at the end or in the beginning, these letters are called as affixes, which are of two types, prefixes and suffixes. And today's class was all about suffixes, its meaning. And you have to do the two exercises in your notebooks. I hope you all have understood. Have a nice day, children. Thank you.